And if I can take the liberty of saying that Nayaswami Shankara is no stranger to Mumbai. He is in fact a very, very dear friend of Ananda Mumbai for many years. Many of us in the room, including myself, have had the privilege and the benefit of receiving the teachings in the form of level 1 and 2 when he would come all the way from the Vatunde Ashram and Pune. This was the time when we used to be at IES College in Bandra and book classrooms there. So it's been a long journey. Uh, for those of you who may not know him yet or the ones watching online, Nayaswami Shankara is based in Chandigarh at the monastery. He's been on the path for a little over 20 years now, and he also has a degree in mechanical engineering from the prestigious Yale University. I'm not sure why I'm mentioning that. I know we don't identify with these outward things, but still, it just shows his sincerity and the commitment to uh, the master's work in India, to which he's dedicated his life. He was also in charge of the Ananda Monastery in India from 2006 all the way up to 2015. And post that, Shankaraji, along with Devarshiji, also set up the Kriya Home Study course, which I'm sure many of you have heard about, through which over the years, thousands of students, not just in India but in many countries worldwide, have really learned how to meditate and benefit as well. We also have Viraj, who's also a brother monk based in Chandigarh. He is from IIT Kharagpur as well, so both of them happen to be from engineering backgrounds, but he's also been dedicatedly serving master's work for the last 2 years. I would now like to welcome Shankaraji to lead us into this satsang on the topic of the constitution of Ananda Sangha.
Thank you so much, Mitesh, and everyone here. I just feel at home that I'm with family, and it's just such a joy to be here with all of you, and be here with Guru Bhais, and we're all going in the same direction, following our path home to God, and it's such a nice feeling to be traveling this path together. So thank you all for having me here. It's been so very enjoyable, really. I'll probably talk more about it as we get into this satsang. It's been a great joy. So why don't we start with a prayer? Please repeat after me. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, Friend of beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Hari Mahashaya, beloved Guru, and saints of all religions, we humbly bow to you. We invite your presence into this temple and into our hearts. We are grateful for your consciousness, for your guidance. We are yours. Always. We're going to chant or two and meditate for a little while to talk about the constitution of Ananda. Such an interesting topic. I spoke on many things, but never this one yet. Looking forward to it.
You do it?
Let's meditate together for about 5 minutes. thank you all. It's been such a wonderful time here so far this trip. And I know that I'll come back again and again, a trillion times if need be. But I'm just so happy here. Um, that we're a spiritual family, and just a little history. That when Swamiji left his body in 2013, that he had expressed the wish to come back to Mumbai and Hyderabad specifically, that he felt the work wasn't established in those two cities yet in India. And when he left his body, I felt I'm going to go to Mumbai, that he wants the work to grow there, and we lived at least close enough in Pune, and Sagar and I would get in this little yellow nano, and every 2 weeks at that time we would come and teach classes and just do everything that we could. And of course, in the building of Mumbai, that it hasn't just been one or two people, that Jayaji and Dhyanaji, but it came many years before that, and Dhyanaji came after that. And Ananda, today we're talking about the constitution of Ananda, but really that I'm not going to give you a boring history lesson or politics lesson or something of how we're going to talk about the spirit and the principles of Ananda and how it's founded. And one of those principles is cooperation. And so there's been so many people that have helped build Ananda Mumbai. And then obviously Shurjo and Narayani took over, and we did 5 or 6 years or whatever it was. Beautiful service here, 6. And when they called me and said, "Oh, we're going to shift," what? Who's going to take care of Mumbai? How's this going to work? And they said, "We've been training people, and there's a group of people here that we deeply, deeply believe in." And as soon as they said that, I said, "I believe so deeply in both of you. I believe in your decisions and the work that you've been doing, the training. And if you believe this deeply, I believe, and I know everything will go on just fine." And it has been so, and it will be so, and everything is going on just lovely here. And there's a power and a grace of Master flowing through all of us, and we all have to do our part. I was saying this also, and when we were talking about community the other day, but we all have to do our part. And so last night I was studying the Constitution of Ananda. Swamiji never wrote anything like, "Here's the Constitution," but he did set in place some principles. One of those was something called involvement management, which was not just management from the top down. In fact, in reading that document, it seems like he based it on the human body, that there are flows of energy that come up and there are flows of energy that go down, and that there have to be a balance in those, and energy needs to flow in both directions. In a company, for example, the person doing the most menial service, I mean, if he needs a new broom or something, that probably information does not need to go all the way up to the CEO, but there might be something where the information does. And the information does need to have a channel that it can go all the way up. And if the CEO, for whatever reason, does need to speak all the way down to someone at the bottom of the chain of command, that energy needs to flow, and it needs to flow very well. And Swamiji realized this and spoke about this. And so he called this decision-making process in Ananda involvement management, and that which would involve as many people as needed to help and make decisions. But there's also a time, if anyone's been a manager here, that if you involve too many people, it doesn't go anywhere, because everybody has conflicting opinions and desires, and it just then you can't move forward. But the beautiful thing about Ananda and how it's set up is the more that people evolve and understand what Ananda is about, they don't come together in meetings where they're going to decide things about, "I want this." It's never about any of us of what do I want. It's about what do we feel is trying to happen here? What does Master want to happen? And this is such a radical change in the way that decision making has been made on this planet in the last 2,000 years, or however long, I guess 1,000, whatever, however long Kali Yuga lasts. When people come together and try to get their egos out of the way and come together and just listen sensitively. And so here's one more reason why we should all meditate and meditate together. That in deep meditation, we are attuning ourselves to the consciousness of Master. I've noticed that when I meditate with certain groups of people over periods of time, that we all simply just get in harmony with one another. We understand each other on a deeper level, and then we can cooperate and we can work together to try to listen to what is trying to happen here. And so involvement management really does want the people that are on the ground actually doing the work. It wants the input from there. And of course, also decision making, it's helpful sometimes if someone's not too much involved in the particular project, but can look at it from an outside point of view. And something that I wanted to just mention this morning, we don't have to go change everything right away, but generally in an Ananda center, that there will be a spiritual director and there will be a general manager. And Swamiji separated these two because he wanted the spiritual director to be able to be removed from the day-to-day operations and not always just looking at the payroll and thinking about what's practical, but be removed from that and look at people's souls and look at what is the highest thing that's trying to happen for this particular person. Another important principle in Ananda is people are more important than things. And in Kali Yuga and in the world, that is not true. That usually the organization itself, paying the rent and this thing and that takes, first priority. And people, well, we'll get rid of them. We'll find some new people, whatever, but we're just going to make the organization run. But Ananda understands that the organization is made of people. And if we have happy, in tune people, that we have a good organization. And so it's the spiritual director's job to look at things and make sure that that's happening on that level. And then the general manager's job, of course, you have to be practical in this world. We do have to pay the rent and everything like this. And the magic happens when these two things come together. And a very fascinating just kind of aside, that there's a book called Two Souls, Four Lives, about Swami Kriyananda when he was King Henry of England, and Paramahansa Yogananda when he was William the Conqueror, that really started England as we know it today. And in that incarnation, Master and Lanfranc, who was Sri Yukteswar, had to fight with the Pope, basically their entire incarnation, because the Pope wanted to take control of not only religious affairs, but also have control over everything, meaning also how much taxes there would be and who would be appointed where and all the different government positions or whatever. And in the book, Catherine Kirby wrote that, I forget the name of that Pope, but that he more than met his match against Master and Sri Yukteswar. You can imagine the two of them teamed up, saying, no, we're not going to do this or whatever. That must have been a very powerful situation. But then afterwards, the Pope was still trying to gain control and power. And so then he had to fight with Swamiji as King Henry and Anselm, who was Roger C. And I'm giving you all this history lesson. I said I wasn't going to give a big history lesson, and now I am. Because Swamiji learned how to govern in general. I'm sure he's been doing it for God knows how many incarnations. But in that one specifically, because he and Anselm, so Anselm was in charge of the church, who was Rajarsi, and then he was in charge of the government. And they worked together like two horses pulling together in tandem. And I believe that Swamiji understood then this principle of general manager and spiritual director and how those can work together in harmony in order to make a world move and make it happen. Another important part of Ananda is that Swami Kriyananda, he likes small things. He didn't like huge governments. A friend of mine has always been interested in politics, and Swami Kriyananda, an American fellow, Swami Kriyananda told him, so he put it in American terms because my friend's American, but he said, even if Jesus Christ were to incarnate and become president of the United States, he could not fix the problems. That the problems are so big there and so entrenched that even if Jesus Christ couldn't fix them. And when my friend Victor told me that, you would think that, an avatar could just come down and just change it all, but if the problems are that big, and Swamiji said, because when you have a country or whatever that is so big, the problems they get entrenched and you just can't fix them. And so communities really doing things in a small, small way where everyone has a say in how things are run, and where um, the energy of how things are run are more important than some set of rules that we all have to sign on the dotted line or something. In fact, think about it. How many wars have there been throughout given history, and then someone comes and makes a treaty, and the leaders shake hands, okay, we'll never do it again. Do those treaties ever work? Does anybody even care about them? No. It's the people's goodwill. It's that if you have two leaders who actually have good hearts and actually love each other and care and are trying to aim towards higher principles, then there will be harmony. That piece of paper actually doesn't mean anything. And we have all these lawyers and politicians and all this, and it's really just a waste of energy. And so Swamiji realized that. I realized that. I actually was thinking when I was very young to become a politician because I wanted to help people. And I started looking, is this working? No, it's not working. Am I really going to be able to help people? No. When I met Swami Kriyananda, he really helped people. When I went to Swami Kriyananda's funeral, people came, they took a plane from all over the world. They may have only met him once. They said, that man changed my life. That he had principles, he had spiritual power, he knew what he was doing, he showed me how to be a good person. And I felt that also about Swamiji from day one, the moment I met him, that he's changing people's lives. He's changing this planet. He's showing us how we can all cooperate and get along and work together. And so Ananda is much more than just a place where you come here and meditate together and love each other. That what we're doing here is going to have a profound impact on society. That this is going to be, and I know I speak in big, big terms, like we're changing the entire world, that, we're more powerful here, what we're doing, than Elon Musk and Trump and all of the and Modi and all of this. But I mean it. I know it's hard to, it's like, are you kidding me? Let me tell a little story. So I'm sure you all know Jayaji. So in the beginning of Ananda, there's just a few people out there, like 20 or something, living in teepees and tree houses and God knows what. And someone invited a newspaper reporter to come and see them. So the newspaper reporter came, and at that moment they were doing affirmations. And I don't know, it was something like, we are successful, we are prosperous. And this newspaper reporter comes in and sees, these ragtag group of people. And this newspaper reporter, these people are absolutely me. And went back home and wrote up a newspaper article. It was just terrible about Ananda. Like, there's 20 people out there living in the woods that are absolutely nuts. But Swamiji would say, this is going to spread all over the world and change the world. And at that time, I think it was very hard for those people to see. But that generation, they have seen it, that this has spread all over the world. And so now I'm telling you also that you will see it, that what we are doing here today, but all of you who come here on a regular basis and help, that you're not just transforming yourself. You're not only giving to Ananda Worldly Center or whatever, that you're setting an example. And it's going to happen with or without you. I love you, but I'm going to tell you the truth. If you don't show up, somebody else is, who's getting on the boat in this grand river that is the flow of Master's energy. He knows what he's doing. He and these great ones are guiding this planet. They've been coming back again and again. And you can get into that flow with them and add your energy and help their mission along. Or you can go run around and do whatever you want to do. It's fine. And they still will love you. But we want to get into I want to tell one more story. I just knocked on the door of Catherine Kyraby, who wrote this book for Lives, Two Souls. I have to think that through and not flip it around. And we just started talking, and she said that there was a time when she was writing that book that Swamiji would always call her to sit right next to him during dinner and just ask her questions. How's the book going? How's the book going? And so one evening this happened, and she said that there was some scholar who wrote that King Henry's life, it seemed that he never evolved. That most human beings, you learn things and you grow and you get older and wiser and everything, but that King Henry always seemed the same. And the writer didn't write that in a negative way, just said he kind of just always seemed wise from day one. How's this work? And so she asked Swamiji, is this true? Did you evolve in that lifetime? Swamiji said, no. And I've always felt that Swami Kriyananda was a Jivanmukta in this lifetime, that his consciousness was always the same. But that made me start thinking, was Swami Kriyananda a Jivanmukta all the way back then, 1,000+ years ago? And how long has he been working this closely with Master? Swamiji would often say that they'd come back again and again. We know that Master was Arjuna and Krishna was Babaji, however you want to say it. But it was said in those times, I think that they were Narada and Narayana, if I'm not mistaken. And so Swamiji would always say, who knows how long they've been coming back to take care of this planet? But I thought, that means I'm sure Swamiji's been with them. Not just once or twice, but how long has he been coming back? And how long has he been a Jivanmukta? And then it made me think, how long have we been with Swamiji and with this lineage of masters? And it just made me think, this has been going on a long time. And we have a deep, deep spiritual family. And we have all been living together for many incarnations. And it just placed it ever more deeply in my heart that I want to serve them and serve their mission ever more perfectly. And I can get all excited about that and run around all crazy trying to help, but we realize that doesn't work so much. That the best way we can serve them is to get deeply in tune. And they may want us to do accounting, they may want us to teach, they may want us to carry the books around, whatever the case may be. That doesn't matter so much. What matters is, are we in tune? I hope you all know the story. Master was walking with one disciple, and he said, shh, Rajas meditating now. Let's not disturb him. You have no idea. Well, actually, they walked a little bit until they were out of earshot, and then Master said, you have no idea when a soul like that meditates that deeply, how many blessings accrue to the work. And now we think, well, yeah, because it's Rajas. We need to learn to meditate that deeply. And this is the highest way that we can serve Master. We have to do both. We have to do the outer action. But to do the outer action well, we need to get in tune, which happens from quietly listening. And then we need to do our part. We want to talk about other principles. That people are more important than things. I said that one. And where there is Dharma, there is victory. This is also a very important part of the constitution of Ananda, one of its very just founding principles. And we all then need to, of course, then the question is, well, how do I know if I'm doing Dharma? If I'm in a leadership position in Ananda, how do I know if I'm making decisions so that Ananda is doing things dharmically? Again, this comes back to attunement. And as you grow in life, as things happen, very complicated situations come up where this person's happy, but this person's hurt, but this person's happy, and then again, let me bring it back to this. It doesn't come to personal desires. You can never make everyone happy. It comes to, what does Master want to happen here? And at the end of the day, at night, we can sleep easily if we feel that we have done Dharma and that we have pleased Master and that our decisions are as he would have made them. And so think about Dharma, think about it deeply, and try to ask in every moment, is this the right thing that Master wants to happen? And Dharma is not an easy thing to understand. It's not like, again, there's some book that you can just read and it will have it all. Obviously, there are the Vedas and the Gita and all of this. That's fine. But when I met Swamiji, he seemed to always say the right thing in any given circumstance. And I'd come from college. I just wanted the book. Which book did he read so that he knew how to say this and that? But in time I came to realize it wasn't which book did he read. It was his inner attunement with Master, meaning through Master then his attunement with God, so that he knew the right thing in that circumstance. And sometimes God will tell you go left, sometimes God will tell you go right. And we have to constantly be listening. Again, Master said of Rajarsi, he's made great spiritual progress in this incarnation, because he knows how to listen. And that didn't mean if he went to the physical doctor that he got a good hearing score, being able to hear physical things. It meant that inwardly, in a state of intuition, that he could understand Master. Master said that there's many saints with him living in Mount Washington, and that only a glance was enough, that if he had to scold someone or communicate something, that he didn't have to sit down and write out, do this. It was the same with Swamiji and Master's relationship when Master trained Swamiji to lead the monks. That Master didn't give him a whole set of rules and meet him every day and say this and that. And this is another important part, another principle that Ananda spoke about. Too many rules destroy the spirit. Don't make too many rules. That we have to look at the spirit of things. And if everyone's spirit is right, and why are we here? We're here to be happy. And if everyone's not happy, then okay, we're off. Where are we off track? And sometimes heavy karmas come for groups. We all just have to deal with them. And then we go inside of our own selves and say, okay, even if the group's not happy, let me find that own joy within myself and strengthen that. And once I find that, and come back and see what I can give to the group. And all of us have that duty to help uplift the group and try to help see the joy levels. Another point that I wanted to make this point. Swami Kriyananda would talk about each one of our thoughts as personifying that as an individual, and that everyone here is a leader in the sense that we have to be leaders of ourselves. But if you think about each one of your thoughts, trying to get them to go all in the same direction, ultimately we're trying to calm them down and stop them so that we can listen on very subtle levels. That if we want to do that, we need to know how to become a leader of our own little kingdom inside, you could say. And this goes back again to the art of listening and the art of being a manager, that you can't bully subordinates. That it'll work for a while, but then eventually they'll rebel and everything will not be nice. And it's the same with our thoughts, that we can't bully them. And this is a really, really important thing, because we all have a subconscious mind, and it is very hard to control. That thoughts just come from out of nowhere all the time. You smell one smell and then, oh, how much I remember eating that thing in my childhood, and I remember the time my brother took more than his half of that particular thing. And then it just goes, and then we catch ourselves, whoa, we need to be practicing Hong Sa. But the point here is, then we think, oh, I'm just going to be so stern. I'll just come in and just tell my mind, Hong Sa, you better listen, buddy, Hong Sa, Hong Sa. But it doesn't work. And so then we have to say, okay, well, how can we handle this? And again, we go back to looking at the energy. When the energy inside of our own selves is right and flowing in the right way and flowing upward, then our thoughts automatically, they all come in line and go in the right direction. And it's the same way that Swamiji led Ananda outwardly as well. That he always was tuning into the energy of any given situation and then seeing how he could make it go in the right direction. Another quality that Swamiji had in governing, and it's so weird to use that word because, anyways, let me say the quality, was patience. He'd wait 20 years. If he knew this was the direction to go, but the group wasn't ready to go that direction, he'd let them go and crash. And then, okay, now they're ready to listen. All right, let's keep, and they might go, and then, okay, they go off, so, all right. So patient was he. And that's a really good quality for everyone. We need to have patience with ourselves also. Be very patient with yourself. You don't love the lower tendencies, you just kind of let them be off to the side, but with who you truly are and realize that this is a long journey, just love yourself. Be very patient, and some things, they simply just take time to evolve. But the deepest understandings of all of these teachings, we're not going to understand it overnight. It simply takes time, so let that evolve. Now, I had a hard time saying Swamiji governed, because he really didn't. And so as I said in the beginning, I lived out at the land outside of Pune, Watunde ashram there. And Swamiji would come and go. He had responsibilities in Europe and America, so he didn't live there full time just for years and years straight. And when he would go, we would feel the energy. Okay, but then we try to get it up, and then who's going to go deal with the water trolley today because we don't have water and the electricity, something's gone wrong. Who will go, to the board and tell them turn it back on and what happened, and God knows all kinds of things would happen every single day. And look, I went yesterday, will you go today? Please, who will want to do this? And we worked it out, we did our best. But then Swamiji would come. Suddenly everyone, I'll go deal with the electricity, but I'll go do that. Yes, I want to. Yes, I'll do it. He never said you have to go do this. People just wanted to serve him even indirectly. And it was his magnetism. So he didn't govern. There was no heavy high-handedness. There wasn't even really any rules. It was just like you wanted to get in tune with Swamiji and you felt you were at your best in his presence. Even just, he's living on the land I don't know, 500 meters away or something. But somehow his magnetism just spread throughout the entire land and just made everything right. And it's an important thing that we hold on to this because as spiritual organizations evolve, they can have a tendency towards going towards a lot of rules and saying, no, Swamiji only did it like this, Swamiji only did it like that. And yes, it's important for us to tune in to how did Swamiji do it. He gave us a model, but it's not important to do that in a forceful way. That it needs to be all of us sensitively listening to each other, all of us sensitively tuning into Swamiji and feeling the energy and trying to understand on deep levels. And it's like those guys in the teepees. You look at it and think, this isn't going to work. That we need to just have a fixed set of rules and either you're in or you're out and you have to do it this way and that's that and that'll work. But please remember, that's Kali Yuga mentality. Many things are changing, obviously, in the world right now. It's chaotic right now because this new way of doing things, of looking at the energy, of trying to have involvement management and making sure what's right for the greatest number of people. And that sounds like a principle of communism, but I don't advocate communism. It's not that at all, because communism gets enforced by dictators usually who kill their own people and put the rules, you have to do this, and I swear it's for the greatest number, yet somehow they're the ones benefiting, and the greatest number is having a hard time. So Kali Yuga, it's starting to figure out how it's going away. But this energy, it will come in, and it will change things for the better, where people just live in harmony and in joy, because it's the right way to do things. Here's another one more principle. I didn't prepare for this one when I was preparing my lecture, but we need to ask, does it work? That's a very important principle that Swamiji would often ask, because we can dream up all kinds of beautiful theories and plans, and hey guys, let's get together and do this and that. But then, okay, run the experiment. And did it work? And if not, okay, let's do it in a different way. And even if the answer is yes, we can always keep improving also and figure out better and better ways to do things. And we're going to wrap up here, but one of the final things is I want to encourage this group and everyone here, have fun together. Don't only do book studies and satsangs and meditations, but just go do fun things. It's a very important part of life that Swamiji would do big programs or whatever, and he'd say, all right, everybody, let's go to the movies. And part of that was just keeping energy high after you've done a big program. You think, can't I just go rest now? No, let's go to the movies, so we keep the energy high. But it also was just, we're here to enjoy. We're here to have fun. And the spiritual path, it needs to be well-rounded and engage and help all different aspects of life. And so if some part is falling apart in your own personal life or in the group here, that we just slow down, we stop. It's all right. It'll be okay. Let's all look at this together. Let's go do some fun things. And we'll just continually look at life together and evolve together. So it's what we're doing here, evolving together and helping each other. And the most important principle, Ananda, friendship. I've just traveled off to Jyotisji and Davidji recently, and I've heard Jyotisji say again and again, Ananda is built on friendship. That Swamiji didn't write all these, okay, the spiritual director must do this on Wednesdays and this on Fridays. And but he wrote, I'm purposely not going to define this. You guys figure it out. Let it evolve, let it flow. But friendship also, in some ways, it's something that's hard to define. I urge all of you to pick up Master's poems. He's written a lot about friendship, but it's a heart quality. It's loving someone, but not with I love you, but you have to do this, this, and this. And there's no conditions on it. It's an unconditional love. It's a love that respects the other person's free will, but also has the permission to offer correction or guidance if one feels that it's necessary. If your friend's doing something wrong, you don't want to see them get hurt, but you also respect their free will. And so remember that Ananda is built on friendship. Friendship is very, very important. And I'm doing classes in other centers on these type of things as well, but you see, we can think that, friendship, harmony, peace, love, joy, yeah. But just tell me, how do I go do this thing? But people, they miss the point that when we take those as not yes, but as this is very important. Let's really try to figure this part of it out. When we hold that up here and try to make everything else fall in line with that, I'm telling you, it works so beautifully. There are so many Ananda communities where things work so very well, so smoothly, and you wonder. It's like Swamiji and the electricity out at Watunde. It's like, how does this work? But I've seen it. I know that it works, and I know that people can cooperate together and be very, very harmonious and accomplish great things in this world, and also have very, very, very deep spiritual life. So please hold all the principles I've talked about today up very, very high, and let's all keep trying to attune to them, and hold that principle of friendship also as one of the great ideals and founding principles. Thank you all so very, very much. And so now we'll have Arati and the blessing. Please stand.
and there are downfall timing. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru.